I think we are live. How's it going, guys? It is August 31st, Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm in New York. Rob, where are you? He's in Canada. I forgot where, though. Where in
Prince Edward Island.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, these.
Oh, you have the
province of Canada.
I know you for your muscles.
Yeah, lots of seafood. We're just like northeast of Maine, so yeah, it's kind of the idea. Yeah.
Nice. All right, and we're here as usual, breaking down. What'd you say?
Sorry. I was gonna say it was in The Sopranos. I think Tony Soprano got sick from PEI mussels or PEI oysters or something like that. That was like our big break.
Oh wait, never mind. There is a different link that I should be using. Oh yeah, there it is. Right in front of me the whole time. There we go. Sorry, I'm just getting Harris. I'm getting everybody the link so they can join and tweet it out on YouTube. There you go. Now that's the right link. Awesome. All right, cool. So yeah, we are here breaking down tomorrow's EPL slate. How'd we do last week? I think we were pretty on point. Liverpool didn't score as many goals as we were expecting, but other than that, I mean, it was a relatively DFS day.
Well, like the major of my double ups were circled around Salah, so I did pretty well on all of those. Actually, I did incredibly well. If I just entered that in a few more GPPs, I probably would have.
What did Salah end up with?
I can't remember enough, especially compared to the rest of the slate. Like there wasn't any like slate breakers. Yeah, keep lowering that there. We can't see all your beautiful face, your chiseled jawline.
Trying to do that on purpose.
Yeah, there you go. No, I understand. But yeah, it was okay. It was pretty bad in terms of like I lost a lot of player minutes, and Sunday there was a lot of cards, so that wasn't very much fun. That's always just a crappy feeling. It was a bad way to lose, but the double ups are good. So yeah.
Oh, the double ups are good. That's what we preach over here for mattering the most. So that's all that matters. So how are we feeling about this week's slate?
This week's going to be pretty interesting. It's actually really brutal. It's not going to be a fun slate at all. The pricing is super tight across the board. We'll get to that as we get going. But yeah, it's going to be.
They need us.
Yeah, I guess you'd say that. Yeah, that's one way to put it. But yeah, I am looking forward to the slate. I think there are some edges, but like Aguero is at 11.1 and Hazard's at 10.8K on DraftKings, and that's just really hard to maintain throughout an entire viable card. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting week.
No Liverpool. Who do we get? Chelsea's on the slate. There's a couple decent teams. You got Chelsea and Man City, but it seems like it's a lot of good like studs and then like it's kind of stars and scrubs.
We'll talk about it for sure. There's lots to cover, but I think there's definitely some bits and pieces to look at in those two big teams.
Was there a utility guy last week, or is that new?
No, there's always a flex. Yeah, the utility's the constant. It's always there. Yeah, I think FanDuel got rid of it.
All right, cool. So without further ado, let's dig into some goalies.
Yeah, let's start with goalies. Like, I think for most of the slate, across most positions, you can basically click on any of the expensive guys across the board, and you're going to be fine. That's the real problem with this slate is that there's no real serious value guys, and every single one of the expensive guys has a real serious shot. Like, I'm not too psyched about Ederson at 6K. At all, actually, because Man City just don't allow a lot of shots. And Kepa for Chelsea, Bournemouth has this incredible record at Chelsea, so I'm just not looking to pick on that too much. Jordan Pickford's great and all, but he hasn't kept a clean sheet yet this season. Hennessy
is hangover.
Sorry?
Little World Cup hangover.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like Everton have taken 2 red cards in 3 games this season, which means they're down a man for the whole game. So you can't really. There's a few guys like Palace is in the same boat where you really can't judge a lot of the games so far this season because of actually how the games have played out. So I don't know. I'm pretty bullish on Pickford, but before him, the more expensive guys than Pickford, I'm really not that into it all this slate. Hennessy isn't really a viable DFS keeper. It wouldn't surprise me if Guaita, the other keeper for Crystal Palace, got in. Matt Ryan against Fulham's an interesting take because, well, Brighton have been a much better team at home than away from home. Fulham aren't that great, but Brighton tend to defend really tightly and allow lots of crosses and long shots, and that's basically all Fulham does. So I'm not too bullish on Brighton either this slate. I'm a little bit more on the Fulham side because I just don't see Brighton actually taking the game to Fulham. Fabianski's going to have to stand on his head if West Ham are going to find any kind of result. Conversely,
hockey reference there.
Yeah, exactly. Rio Patricia, I think, is probably one of my favorite plays this slate all around. Wolves are probably winning the game. West Ham are probably letting in a bunch of goals. I don't see them scoring a bunch of goals, especially if Arnautovic is out. What it looks like he's going to be out. So I think that's a huge bump up for Rio Patricia because Arnautovic's the only guy who's actually scored for West Ham this season. So
I feel like they're going to plug Chicharito up front.
Yeah, if the problem with we'll get there later for forwards, but he's going to come off the field at like 60, 70 minutes, almost guaranteed. He's not playing 90 minutes. So it's really suboptimal to choose Chicharito. And conversely, it's quite optimal in that light to take Rio Patricia, especially at only 4.7K on DraftKings. I got no problem with that.
Good question. Out of Ederson and Kepa, who do you prefer out of the expensive studs?
Kepa, absolutely. Like, the problem with City is they won't allow Ederson to make many saves. Like, if you look at his save count this season, against Arsenal, he had a few. He didn't have any against Huddersfield, and he still let in a goal. And he had one save against Wolves and still let in a goal. So it's not like he's clocking saves here like other keepers. So I'm just not interested. At least Pickford's getting 3 saves a game, So that's like 6 points there waiting every time for Pickford, where Ederson, you're lucky to start with 2 points, and he's the most expensive keeper of the slate. It's just not viable at all.
Well, I mean, is that partly due to the fact that his last 2 matchups have been against Huddersfield and the Wolves? Like, they suck. He played Arsenal in the opening week of the year, and it's actually a decent competition. He ended up with 16 points.
Yeah, Arsenal.
Newcastle's very great, but
yeah, like they're kind of Arsenal's a recipe for DFS success for the other keeper. Where the problem is though, like it's not really a variance kind of situation for Man City. It's very hot and cold. It's either one week they're going to be a viable selection, or another week defensively they're not viable at all. And this week, in terms of Ederson, he's not viable at all. If Newcastle get any shots on net, it's probably going to go on the net, and that's like if they get any shots on net. So
you don't feel that way about Bournemouth?
Sorry?
You don't feel that way about Bournemouth going into Chelsea?
Bournemouth,
or you just feel that way a little less?
A little less. Like, Bournemouth are an incredible team in their own right, especially at the moment. Like, they're fire in the league. So it's tough for me to take Kepa against Bournemouth. But if I had to choose between him and Ederson, I would definitely take Kepa every single time, because at least Kepa's going to or at least Kepa's going to get the chance to make 4 saves, 3 or 4 saves, where Ederson will be lucky to make 2 saves. Like, that's where he'll probably cap out this slate, is like 4 points. And then you're going to need a CS bonus win on top of that, which would be another 8 points. So like 12 to 14 fantasy points max from 6K isn't viable this slate, because like any keeper below him gets one more save or the same amount of saves as him and a CS bonus win. And Ederson is like garbage. He is one of the worst selections of the slate, because you're literally that $800 between, or $400 between him and Pickford can be a big deal. But like between Rio Patricia and him is a massive big deal. Between the Fulham keepers is incredible deal, especially if Sergio Rico starts. McCarthy, I'm not hot on, but he's only 4.3K. Like, I don't know. There's some great value there when you look away from him. Even if you were like, I would honestly take Begovic before I would take Kepa, simply because Bournemouth have such an incredible record at Chelsea. His ownership's going to be shot. And I don't know, he's going to see tons and tons of chances to make saves. Definition of boom and bust. So I think Begovic would be pretty cool in GPP. But like, yeah, that's really my keeper takes as a whole. Like, I really like Rio Patricio. I really like Pickford. I really like the Fulham keeper, whoever starts him. Like I say, I hope it's Sergio Rico, and we get that minus 100 to work with, which really makes a big difference in DraftKings, because a lot of times you'll have an incredible card and it ends at minus 100, and you're like, damn, this is so close. It's flamed. I love it. You know, and so that's the kind of variance that we get, the positive variance we get as DFS players at Slate coming up.
Dollar matters.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm not really. I'm pretty big on Everton this slate, and so
does that mean pairing that with some Everton defenders, or what is your primary?
Yeah. So for defenders, the first thing I'm doing is just clicking Mendy. The reason for this is that
GPP both.
Sorry,
Cash and GPP both.
Yeah, he's just so incredible. 7.3K is a big ask, but like unlike Ederson, Mendy doesn't need saves in order to be viable. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be viable with the CS bonus no matter what. And like the thing is too is like goes back to what I said about earlier about keeper. You can literally select any of these high expensive guys that are playing, and 9 out of 10 times you're going to be fine. Mendy is an excellent play. Alonso is going to be incredible, because if you own Mendy or if you own any kind of super expensive forward, you can't afford Alonso. His ownership is going to be rock bottom, and DK finally got around to put him as a defender, which means we get CS bonus chances again, clean sheet shots. So like I'm after that low owned clean sheet bonus with Alonso if you can get it, but I'm really not interested in stacking anything there. Just putting Alonso in by himself is kind of a Mendy pivot. Azpilicueta is an awesome cash play, incredible cash play, really. He's the only player this entire slate that's guaranteed not to come off without being injured or a red card or something. Like he's playing
Azpilicueta.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not really big on Kyle Walker. Cyrus Christie played one game so far of the season, and though he like absolutely broke the slate to shreds, you just can't rely on one game when there's been 3 games so far. Van Aanholt's a good GPP play because he's going to be super low owned. Leighton Baines is one of my all-around favorite plays of the slate for defenders, period, at 5.1K. He's got the penalty shot uptick, excuse me. Huddersfield are like crazy unlikely to score. Again, I know I say that a lot and teams end up scoring. Yeah. But like Huddersfield are really bad. Like if there's one
big jinx with that, man.
Sorry?
You're big jinx.
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? I gotta start knocking on more wood. I think Masaku for West Ham's a really interesting play for either format, really. He's doing enough, even without West Ham doing well. Coleman and Baines, again, they kind of work interchangeable. Coleman has a better floor. Bain has more of an upside, but I still like them both for either format. But then, like, the list just drops off, like, super hard. You can take a shot on, like, a Galen Bong on Brighton. He's a home defender, 4.2K. I don't mind Johnny on Wolves for only 4.1K. He's probably not playing 90 minutes, which is a pretty big concern for me. But at the same time, he's doing more than enough, with his time. If you want to get really, really crazy, the one guy that I recommend taking a look at, and this is just for like the deepest GPP field, if you're looking with like 150 max entry kind of thing and you need to really separate yourself from people, there's a guy on Fulham here that I was looking at, Maxime Lemarchand. He's only 3K. I'm expecting absolutely nothing from him. But the thing is that my line of thinking is he's probably going to finish like 3 or 4 fantasy points. That's a fair expectation considering that's what he's done. Brighton are not a team to score goals, even at home. So if he falls on the CS bonus, he could easily get you to 2.5 value without too much issues. And while like that won't obviously break a slate, when you're trying to afford Aguero and Hazard and Zaha and Sigurdsson into a card, which is impossible, by the way. But if you're trying to do that, you're going to need like 5 or 6. other guys who are all 3K, and so that's someone I'm looking at there. But like as a whole, really, I think my defender selections are going to circle around Everton and maybe a little bit of Crystal Palace and Chelsea, but definitely Everton is my defensive focus this week, simply because Huddersfield are so bad at scoring goals. I don't even care what the ownership's going to be like. Fire in those Everton defenders.
Fire them up, baby.
Yeah.
All right. See. Over to midfield now. Who are you paying up for Hazard at midfield?
That's the thing. In head-to-heads, I might just do that. It makes me a little bit sick because it's like last week all over again when I went to Mane instead of Salah. Everyone's just going to be on Aguero in head-to-heads. And while I'll get to him in a bit, he could just as easily come off at 76 minutes as he could score a hat-trick, where Hazard, well, if anyone watched the game last week, if anyone's watched Hazard ever, he is this player, like the more scrutiny he comes under, the better he plays, and like the more unlikely situation. He was supposed to play 60 minutes last week and like not be fit and be like a game time decision kind of thing. He played 90 minutes, took a gazillion fouls where like they were literally trying to break his legs. They were hacking him to pieces, and he just kept getting up and playing. And like it literally went against everything that was supposed to happen. And that's usually what happens with Hazard, is like the more scrutiny, or like the more the game leaves the optimal script for DFS, the more Hazard's going to play. So it's tough. It's tough to take him, but I'm going to be rocking that 10.8 over the 11.1. Again, that 300 makes a really big difference. Sorry?
You put that $300 to good use.
Keepers, remember, like we were talking earlier with keepers, that's a big difference. That $300 is a massive difference. So I'm really looking at using Hazard in head-to-heads, and in my double-ups, probably just rock the Aguero. Now,
Sterling, Mahrez, Sane,
we may as well talk about this now. It's probably the most important thing of the entire slate. What we have to do with City is determine basically who's going to play 90 minutes and who isn't. And then we make our selections from there. Sterling, if he starts, is probably playing 90 minutes, but he hasn't yet. He hasn't done it yet. So we can't say he's going to because he hasn't. So I'd like to think he's played enough minutes that 90 minutes is kind of irrelevant. But at the same time, that could just be a trend that he's coming off at 65 next time. And the same can be said for Mahrez. He's not playing enough minutes. And it's not sorry?
Very deep team, very deep.
Well, that's the thing, right? And like that's great for when they get deep into the season and they have to play multiple like world-class teams in the same week. But at the same time, it's horrible for us in DFS because now we have to like take a shot on a 60 minutes Raheem Sterling or a 70-minute Aguero and hope that they stay on the field, and hope if they come off the field, at least they'll get enough done in the meantime. There's a lot of hope in there for someone who costs 11.1K or 9.8K or 9.6K. The same with Willian on Chelsea. Like, if Hazard's playing 90 minutes, it's him and Pedro that are taking each other off every single time. And Pedro has, 4 goals in 6 games for Chelsea. So it's like, there goes Pedro, the main goal scorer for Chelsea, and this game it happened to be Hazard, and Pedro's playing 90 minutes now. It's like it's completely up in the air, and these salaries make it incredibly risky. Where in a situation it was already way too much risk, so it really uninterests me all the way up there. Like Hazard, yes, I'll play because I'm pretty sure he's going to get 90 minutes because Chelsea are going to need him to do things against Bournemouth. They're just going to need that. Man City aren't going to need a lot of these guys to do things. Chances are they're going to fall in a couple to a few goals like they always do, and they'll just be like, okay, let's sub this person, let's sub this person, let's sub this person without any real intent of why they're subbing, where Hazard's going to stay on the field if Chelsea need him.
Yeah, so basically the main thing to draw here is your focus way more on guaranteed minutes than anything.
Exactly. And like literally, you drop down, and Zaha's the first name on DraftKings. That's going to get 90 minutes, and he's probably my favorite play of the slate. Period. I'll go out more about him in forwards, but like that's just the way I'm approaching City this week. There's a few guys like David Silva is always awesome. Bernardo Silva is probably the closest to cash viable out of all the City guys that you can probably play based on minutes and his floor. Theo Walcott,
like Theo Walcott and Andre Schürrle. You look.
This is the juice right here. This slate, this 7 to 7.5K is incredible. Theo Walcott is unquestionably the hottest player in the league right now. Andros Townsend is incredible on Palace, and he is going to take 5 crosses. He's good for cash. I'm not so psyched about him for GPP, but Townsend's definitely someone you can take as even a Zaha pivot in cash. If you still can't afford Zaha, just go with Townsend because Southampton are not going to stop them. They're just not. It's not going to happen. I love Schürrle this week. Everyone needs to click on Schürrle's name and take a look at what he did last slate. That isn't going to be an anomaly against teams that let Fulham shoot, and Brighton are one of those teams that let Fulham shoot. Do I think he's going to get 11? No. Do I think he could get 8? Yeah, that's probably a solid ceiling for his shot total this week. But again, that's more than enough. I would probably keep it a GPP, but 7.2 is a little bit heavy to ask for cash when you have someone like Towns at 100 more who will make an infinite better floor than Schürrle. Ryan Fraser on Bournemouth. Again, if Bournemouth are going to do anything, it's probably going to be Ryan Fraser because who else does things for Bournemouth? It makes no sense how he does things every slate. But Ryan Fraser's in play in GPPs. El Nassi and Southampton, he is probably going to take a ton of corner kicks because Palace allow a ton of corner kicks and allow a ton of crosses. So El Nassi could definitely see some solid minutes. Felipe Anderson, someone I'm considering for GPP. Stacking him and Musaku is pretty interesting because literally nobody's going to have him. And if Arnie isn't playing, Felipe Anderson is like the guy for West Ham. If they're doing anything, it's going to be through him, period. So he's someone I'm considering. Ruben Neves on Wolves is borderline lock for me this slate, especially in cash. West Ham of literally, you can look at literally every stat. Most crosses, most through balls, most short passes, most key passes.
Keep going. I got someone just at my door.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So West Ham literally allow everything across the board here. So Ruben Neves is only 6.1K, someone you have to get into your cards this slate, especially when you're trying to spend up and you need a midfielder that can get you 20-plus points. West Ham aren't going to stop that. Moutinho on Wolves again, staying on the same team. I think he's like a cheaper version of Ruben Neves. So if you need, again, that $400 isn't working out, he's a great guy. Milicevic and Palace is probably my top value cash play of the slate at only 5.5K. This Crystal Palace Southampton game is going to be literally chocked full of production.
So real quick, just to summarize, let's do your top 3 cash midfielders in terms of percentage owned for you, then your top 3 GPP midfielders.
Can I say just a few more things quick? Sorry, I wasn't.
Yeah, no, keep going. I don't want you to say so many names that people lose track.
Well, yeah, it's tough. I'm skipping over a bunch too. If what I usually do here is, if anyone's watching and wondering, just open DraftKings and follow along. I go straight down the list of DraftKings, so you can see exactly where my ranges are. So yeah, as I was saying, Milicevic is one of my favorite value plays. I think Aaron Moy is an all-around lock. Just about to ask. Yeah, see, this is something. The game is literally only crosses, right? Yeah, this needs to be discussed. Everton take the most fouls, allow the most corners, allow the most all-around set pieces, allow them. I don't even know if I said crosses already or not. The point is, Aaron Moy takes literally all the set pieces for Everton, and Everton allow the most.
Oh yeah, set pieces are points in DFS. Yeah,
exactly. So For 5.4K, you're getting 100% exclusive set piece actions against the team that allows the most set pieces. That by itself should be something to consider in cash. And he's only 5.4K in a slate when we're trying to afford 10K guys. Aaron Moore's
Perfect.
borderline a lock. And literally under there, there's only two other guys that I would really consider talking about. And you have to go all the way down. And it's at 3.5K. Mario Lamina on Southampton, or 3 point, I think it's 2K on James MacArthur on Crystal Palace. Either side of this game, those two center midfielders are playing excellent footy at the moment. They're probably not coming off the field. And I think they're excellent value options when you really need to save some money, because I even think Lamina could be this week's Guendouzi for me. I may even take him in cash. I think both Palace and Southampton do not have the ability to stop each other from doing things. And it should be like the highest scoring game of the slate. So I don't mind taking either of them. But that's really my midfields. If I'm cashing in midfield, I'm going probably Ruben Neves, and I am going probably Luka Milicevic in the midfield this slate. And I would probably save my forwards for the midfield forward guys. That's definitely where I'd focus. And Aaron Moy, I don't even have a problem in cash this slate taking both Sigurdsson and Aaron Moy from the same game. That's how jacked I am about Aaron Moy. It could be huge this slate. I know he's also dropping a little bit more defensive because Jonathan Hogg took it.
He's not really in attacking zones, but he'll get creating the opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. And especially for cash, that's all you need from 5.4K. Anyways, I'm good to go to forwards now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to rush you.
No, I did.
Perfect.
Okay.
Right, move over to forwards. Who are you targeting?
Yeah, the deal is Aguero, when to use them, when not to use them. Too many people are going to own him in GPP to really make it viable for me. I'm obviously going to take him in a couple spots, but I'm not building around him for GPP. The same can be said for Eden Hazard. The only time I'm really in GPP going to play them is if I'm playing them together in the same card. It is possible. You're going to have to take Lamina or MacArthur. You're going to have to take a really cheap defender along with not an expensive defender. You'll have to take no one more expensive than Rio Patricio, but it can be done. It is viable. But I'm just not looking at that in GPP as a good solo shot. You're just kind of throwing yourself to the whim of ownership and being did I cash with the 60% of people, or did I miss with 60% of people? I just rather fade that. But for forwards, again, for City, it's tough. Gabriel Jesus, the man from Brazil, not getting minutes. Pedro, not getting minutes. Giroud, not getting minutes. Richardson's out. Bernardo Silva, not getting minutes. Murata, not getting minutes. Sigurdsson's really the first viable forward after Zaha, who we talked about a little bit earlier. Those two, honestly, I'm leading with those two over Aguero and Mahrez in most formats this slate. They're just flames across the board. I'm not as bullish about Zaha and cash as I am in GPP, but Sigurdsson is literally everywhere and anywhere. I think Mitrovic on Fulham is one of my favorite plays this slate. He's even viable for cash and FanDuel, where their forward pool is really weak. So I don't mind Mitrovic at all in either format, either site. But yeah, I definitely think he can go off this slate. But other than that, the forwards are really, really weak. There's only one other forward I'm really targeting hard, and it's Jimenez on Wolves. He should get 90 minutes. He's 6'2". West Ham allow everything, and Wolves are one of the top crossing teams in the league. So Jimenez is definitely someone I'm considering for GPP. And in fact, if I'm going to play GPP with both Hazard and Aguero, he's the guy I go to next every single time, because I feel his salary is the most accessible from all the forwards. Callum Wilson's still in play for Bournemouth. He leads the league right now with shots on net with Sergio Aguero. So you can't just ignore him because he's playing Chelsea. You don't want to take him in cash because Chelsea will keep that floor down. But in GPP, there's nothing stopping him from getting 2 goals against an injury-prone or a mistake-prone Chelsea. But other than that, there really isn't it. Maybe in my most like craziest state of mind, I would play some Rondon if he starts for Newcastle against Man City.
Solomon.
Yeah, because I can't think of a guy that I would care less to see succeed in the EPL right now. Nothing against him as a person. I just don't like him as a player. So, yeah, that would be.
Don't know Rob is very racist towards Venezuelans.
That's not true. I have many. There's a big population here in PEI, so yeah, they'll all back me up. I'm not too worried. But yeah, the forward pool on FanDuel is extremely poor. You're going to have to take a risk somewhere, probably with Mitrovic. Jimenez is. I don't know. I said this last week against, or 2 weeks ago against for Leicester. For like Inichiro, and he did nothing at all. But like, if West Ham don't allow more than 2 goals, I'll be incredibly surprised. So Jimenez is playing 90 minutes and like defines everything that West Ham can't handle. So yeah, I definitely am going to be looking.
Help us build a team.
Help us build a team right now. Okay, let's build a team right now. We'll build a couple first. I wonder. I wonder how to. Do I put my screen on here? Can I even do that? Screen share, maybe. I'll wait till you come back. But we'll build a team here. Starting. Let's build a cash first. I think Jordan Pickford's definitely the cash keeper of the slate. I don't see Huddersfield scoring. Simple as that. And Bournemouth and Newcastle definitely can cause a lot of headaches for ownership there. We'll save the big expensive one. It's tough, right, at defense when we're looking at all these names, because like you're going to have to go low if you want to spend up. But what I really want to do is take someone like Aspileta, who I know is going to get 90 minutes. I know is going to cross the ball a lot. And I would like to pair it with Baines, excuse me. But that 5.1K with the 5.6 and the 5.6 is just too much. So I'm going to try and keep this under 5K if I can here to try and grow that close to 7K as I go forward here. In the midfield, this is tough again for cash. Remember, we're building cash here. So we're going to go Ruben Neves against Wolves. For Wolves against West Ham, because like I said, West Ham are going to be allowing nonsense. And I think, like I said, let's go back to Milicevic on Palace. Southampton are going to take a ton of fouls. Both teams take a ton of fouls, but Southampton take a ton too. They're right up there with Everton. So I have no issues with Milicevic getting some free kicks this slate. Once we get to cash, this is where we have to make our first decision. Are we going to go Sigurdsson? Let's see what Sigurdsson. If we go Sigurdsson, it leaves us with 7.2K. I'm sure everyone could see this. That would make a big difference. No. Let's try this. There we go. Okay. So you guys can see my other desktop there, some of my video games. I got Steam, not bad. So let's take this over here. So this is what we got so far. Let's try and make that a little bit bigger. There we go. So we got Sigurdsson, Ruben Neves, Milicevic, Aspileta, Coleman, and Pickford. I figured out how to screen share. Is that working for you? You see my drafting?
You're doing great, man. I see it perfectly.
Yeah. Excellent, perfect. So yeah.
So let's leave it at that, right? I forgot we gotta keep industry standards, right?
Yeah. So I was gonna keep filling it out, right? But that's kind of where I ended at right there. We're gonna decide what kind of forward to take. Let's take a look at a few others here, see what it leaves us with. If we go Zaha in this spot, what does that leave us with? 6.7K. See, that's tough because if you go Hazard, you're screwed. There's literally nothing there. So let's leave Hazard in there and take out Zaha. Let's put in Townsend instead of Zaha. And see, that's a lot more reasonable. 4.2K is way more reasonable to work with than 2.7. Because if you scroll down here, I can think of a few guys off the top of my head I would play at this price. But Gaelton Bong is instantly your first guy that you can go to here from this price at home. Especially, like Fulham aren't.
So is this more of a GPP lineup? Because it's
No, this is cash right now that we're building. And we're deciding what, because this is a good core to go with here, especially the defense. I really like this. The midfield's solid. And it's like if you want to go Hazard or Aguero, and let's try Aguero. So what we can also do here too is go Moy with no Sigurdsson.
Yeah, is Moy the first person you're entering in most of your lineup builds this week?
No, definitely not. I love him, but he's not the first guy. The first guy I'm entering is probably Ruben Neves across the board. Just Wolves, West Ham are that bad. they're really that bad. Let's see what else we got here. So if we're going to defense, we should go Rio Patricio. And for cash, now we can spend up a little bit. So actually, let's go Mendy. See if we can do this. No, see, now we're in serious trouble with forwards. I wanted to try Jimenez here too because I think he is cash viable. Sorry.
Nah, it's all good. So this is a bet.
There we go. See, 3.4K is still really cat. We can still do something there because we still got these two cats over here, James MacArthur and Lamina, where you can just slide in here at any time you want. Where's MacArthur at? Oh man, I'm so tired. Sorry, everyone. I'm having trouble.
See, guys, audience, I want everyone to know that I told Rob he should sleep a little bit before this show, but he didn't want to listen.
Yeah, I work nights, so I haven't actually slept yet. This is basically 4:20 in the morning for me. 4:20.
Take everything he says with a major grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that's a pretty solid looking cash card right there. You have the Wolves exposure. You have the Palace exposure on both MacArthur and Milicevic. Asplet is really the key here with Mendy because check this out. Not coming off the field. Look at those advanced passes he's making. That's a huge key, too, to someone who's actually involved.
All right, now just get rid of two of those lineups.
Yeah, no, sorry. Well, I'm just building here cash for everyone to see where we can end up with it. That isn't a skeleton. That is not an official skeleton, people.
Don't worry. We're all right. But yeah, you guys get the point and then some, so
yeah.
Good for you to tune in.
But that's basically what you have to do when you have the Aguero Hazard is like keep mixing them in and out, see who fits, see who doesn't. I think I proved the point there that Townsend fits really good in cash this slate, and so does Jimenez. But yeah, good luck everyone. I hope you have fun. Let's put back on my face here if I can.
Rob, get some sleep. That was a great breakdown for everybody. I apologize for being a little in and out. I kept having a couple knocks on my door, and I had to speak to some people in my building about replacing the AC vent. But that's what happens on Friday. You got to make run errands, and take care of the home. But good breakdown. I think the bottom line here is it's just kind of a boring slate. It's not the best slate. Everyone's going to have Man City players and Aguero, but we hope we gave you, Rob did a pretty good job of giving you some cheaper options and some viable GPP turns like Hazard over Aguero, just so you can stand out from the crowd a little bit. But yeah, I mean, we don't want to reinvent the wheel here. It's just, basically when Liverpool's on the slate, we'll be more excited.
You will be. I like these slates personally, but this is a little tight, and it's not surprising. Early in the season, DraftKings priced really tight, so there's nothing you can really do right now but just kind of look for the route that's going to work out.
Perfect. All right, well, that's it for this week. It's a quick show. We don't want to, say so many names and things that you're not really with us, and we know not everyone's making like 50 lineups, so we try and keep it to the best info we can. Yeah, that's it for me, Josh Kronfeld, and we, Rob. If you want to send yourself off here, but yeah, I'll be back at 5:30.
Yeah, he'll be back. I'm going to bed, and I'm waking up early tomorrow morning for EPL. I'm actually waking up early because I wake up early, but yeah, I'm ready for EPL. Let's get this going. All
right, brother. Have a good day. Talk to you guys later. Rotopros.com, 2-week free trial. Come join us. Nothing to lose. No viewers now, but,
That's okay. I don't blame them.
all that matters is come lineup block, you get the skeletons in there, and you learn how to fill those holes in yourself, and you really make some money in DFS, pay those bills. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Later.